So congratulations for yet another book. Very, very inspiring, Kavita. I don't know how you quite do this.
Thank you, darling. I live for this. I think I live for writing. So then that's all I do in my free time.
Excellent. It's very inspiring. मेरी तो एक लिख के one full stop हुई हुई है. But I need to get inspired by you.
No, darling, all you need to do is write a bit more. That's all.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that, the book will just eventually come out of whatever you're writing. I don't write thinking about the book. I just write. And then eventually everything takes the shape of a book, So
yeah, but it's a brilliant topic, especially because, during COVID, we've all kind of let go of our boundaries when it comes to eating. We've all gone to another level, and I think we need a course correction in a sense. So the No Diet Plan by Kavita is out now, guys. Kavita, you want to show your copy of your book if you haven't nearby?
Absolutely. Labor of Love, darlings. So please, this is the book. I love the cover. They've done a fabulous job with publications.
So folks, go out, get your copy, and she's going to give you a little snippet of why you need to get that copy. The big question, to diet or not to diet. So, Kavita, you're saying don't diet. You're going to make us lose that weight.
Jyotsna, I've been saying that right from the beginning. This is not new.
Yeah.
Whoever knows me, my first book itself was called Don't Diet, 50 Habits of Thin People. So that came way back in 2016 when, and that was in fact revolutionary at that time, because at that time everyone was talking about calories in, calories out, and don't eat to lose weight. That whole fad thing was really gaining steam. And then that's the time I wrote about the concept of Don't Diet. Because this is not my concept. This is something I've observed over the years in my practice. I've also learned from my clients what works, So I realized that making a person diet, tell me, if someone tells you, Jyotsna, you can't have cake for a week, isn't that what you think about all the time, So starvation, deprivation, all of these are absolutely, I would say, hopeless tools to make a person lose weight. They don't work in the long run. I realized that very long back with my clients. And I also observed what works, So in the first book, the Don't Diet 50 Habits of Thin People, I'd actually put down the habits that I, felt naturally thin people already have. But this one has been actually, I've written this over the time, every time a strategy would work, I would just pen it down.
Yeah.
So it came about chapter at a time. If it wouldn't work, I would just remove it, or try and work on it. So in a way, the clients are the guinea pigs, but basically what worked with them over the last 25 years, it's been 25 years of practice now, is all there in this book.
So it's all tried and tested.
Yeah, everything that's there in this book works. That much I can guarantee you. And everything is based on the principle of don't diet. Literally, I do not believe in making people diet. I believe in, my strategy is different. I don't believe in removing things from their diet. I mean, any client of mine will tell you that, any patient of mine. I add so much goodness, that is how I work, that I add so much goodness in their diet that the bad stuff gets minusculed. Doesn't have to be removed, but gets minusculed. And that automatically works. So that is a strategy I believe is a far more sustainable way of making a person lose weight.
So what are your 3 big principles for this?
Okay. So 1, do not think or do not obsess about calories. That's the first thing I tell everyone. Calorie is just one factor that could affect your weight. There are a lot of other factors. Calorie deficit is important, but do not make that the sole, bedrock of your weight loss plan. There are a lot of other things, the kind of nutrition that you're giving to your body, the way your hormones are behaving because of the kind of food and lifestyle that you're eating, the stress that you're facing. All of these are as important, if not more, I would say, than the amount of calories that you're getting. So stop obsessively counting calories. Keep a broad check on how much you're eating, but stop obsessively counting calories. That's the first Unlearning I do with everyone, and that's what I teach in this book as well. In fact, there's a chapter, you've read the book, so you'll know there's a chapter which explains that calories are not all same. There are good calories and there are bad calories. And if you can understand this distinction of good versus bad calories, you'll probably never have a weight problem ever in your life. So that's the first principle that I believe in. To read the chapter, if you read the chapter in detail, you'll really be able to, just after the chapter, be able to distinguish which are the good calories and which are the bad calories and how you can keep them in check. The second principle, it's difficult to give just 3, but I'm trying.
You can go with 5.
Okay. The second principle is that you have to look at more than the calories. You have to look, when you look at the food, instead of thinking calories or just fat, you need to look at the nutrition component of that food. What is that food giving you? Is it nourishing you in any form? Could be in any form, where maybe it's giving you a lot of fiber, maybe it is giving you a lot of vitamin A for your skin or your eyes. You know, it could be giving you biotin for your hair. It could be giving you probiotics for your gut, if that is your issue. So is it giving you something worthwhile that will go inside your body and add some value? Start looking at every food from that angle. The moment you identify that, you will also be able to, at the same time, see if that food is bad for you. What is the bad thing that food is doing for me? So then compare and see whether it is really worth it. You know, once you start looking at food from that lens, rather than just calories, fats, carbohydrates, protein lens, start looking at the focused nutrition, or the nourishment is the better word that I like to use. This food, a particular food, is giving you. If it is doing that to you, please go ahead and eat it without any guilt, even if it is high calorie. That's what I'm trying to say. Always measure a food by the nutrition it is giving you, not by the calorie alone. That's the second principle. Little difficult for people to grapple. Yeah. But once they get it, once they get into the practice of that, and that's what happens with my clients, because over the time they learn all this, and then their diets, whatever they're eating, by diets I mean whatever they're eating, becomes sustainable, and they're able to maintain their weight or further lose weight if they want to. And the third principle that I believe in, which is often overlooked, is hydration. We are so obsessed with just food, that we miss out on, one, how much water we are drinking. Because kitna bhi reiterate kar do, Jyotsna, it's important for me in every talk to bring in water, because still people don't drink enough. Still people don't drink enough. So hydration, the positive side is hydration. Increase the amount of water that you're drinking by any means possible. You know, not if you can't drink plain water, who's forcing you to have plain water? You can have soft ka pani, you can have mint water, you can have vegetables and fruits which have a lot of water. So again, be very focused about the amount of hydration you're giving your body.
So what's a good hydration amount? Liters, glasses for a day, whatever.
So on an average, some people need more, some people need less, because everything depends on, your body structure, your weight. Yeah. So how much water is needed to make all your systems work efficiently, and also on where you're living, amount of humidity, whether you go out or not in the heat, and also if you exercise or not. But on an average person like, say, you and me, and people who are listening probably must target at least 2.5 liters of water. 2 minimum, ideally 2.5. And if they're exercising, keep increasing the amount accordingly. So target that. The way you make a diet plan, you must make a water plan as well. Yeah. That's what I teach people. Make a water plan and stick to it.
Yeah. No, it's right. It's right. I keep thinking I should do that every time, make a chart and go on this water diet or whatever. I mean, not diet.
And I'll tell you something very weird, Jyotsna. This is something people realize once they practice it. If you don't give water to your body, if you drink, like, say, there are people who've been managing with 3 glasses a day, 3 to 4, and they say we don't feel thirsty, which is fine, because your body has adapted. Your body is a machine which adapts to what you give it to the body, But the moment they start increasing their water, and slowly we bring it up to 5, then we bring it up to 8, eventually, You know, the moment they start having 8 glasses of water, they realize that they can't do with less. You know, the body has been thirsting for it, but since you weren't giving it to it, it was managing. So they were like, we don't need more water. You do need more water, but it's like, you know, the machine is working with less oil. So the body is working with less water, so that can't be very efficient, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a question on the keto diet, and I was going to ask you, you know, there are these multiple diets in the market, the med diet, which everyone, of course, says is one of the best. What's your take on them?
Okay, so med diet is not really a fad diet. Med diet is more like an Indian diet. It's like, it's a diet, it's a way of eating. So that is now out of this purview. But if we have to talk about fad diets, of course, they're a dime a dozen, Jyotsna. There's probably a new one being made as we are talking. You know, they change. The new ones come in with new seasons, literally. Some of them stay for longer, like keto has stayed. You know, it has impressed people and it has stayed on for a much longer time compared to any other fad diet, I would say. What I do is I try to teach people how to identify a fad diet. Simple, FAD. A fad is a bad word. I mean, I literally say equate fad with bad. I do this word identification thing in my first book, you know, how to identify good food with good words and bad food with bad words, you know, so like skinny with spinach and pizza with plump. You know, so the same way fad is to be associated with bad is what I try to tell everyone. Very simple. You have to learn to identify a fad diet. And a fad diet is very easily identifiable if it checks just this one tick, that this diet is removing any food group from your diet or reducing it excessively. If it's asking, for example, it could be asking you to completely do away with carbohydrates, or it could be asking you to completely do away with fat. You know, any diet that is asking you to remove any major macronutrient, protein, fat, fiber, you know, from your or carbohydrates from your diet is a fad diet. That's the easiest way to identify it. And the moment you identify it, run a mile away from it. In fact, I do this exercise with my clients. I tell them to stand at their window, whichever floor they live in, you know, and just close their eyes and go to the balcony and then just mentally throw away the fad diets, whatever they can think of. You know, like keto goes down the window, the balcony, paleo goes down the balcony. So I literally do this exercise with them so that they can get them mentally out of their mindscape. So identify a fad diet, stay away from it. Because, like I repeat every time, whatever sounds too good to be true, Jyotsna, is too good to be true. As simple as that. If it is promising you the moon, it's promising you 10 kgs in 10 days. Please use your logic. Please use your common sense. Do not, you know, it's like get fast rich schemes, you know, which never fructify. They might for a bit, you know, you might just knock off about say 3-4 kilos quickly,
and then
but you're going to gain more. Yeah, you know, and you're going to gain more back. Literally, I can promise you that. You might lose 3 kilos, but by the end of the year, you'll probably would have gained 6 or 7 kilos back because they harm your body. It's as simple as that. Okay, let me ask you another simple question, which I ask another client of mine who's persistent on wanting to go on a fad diet, which I refuse to give, you know. I ask them, do you want to, for every extra kilo that you lose, if I ask you to let go of every year from your life, would you be happy to do that? Reduce your age by every year. Are you getting me? So you lose 10 kilos extra quickly, but are you willing to let go of 10 years from your life? I haven't had one person who said yes to that till now.
I can imagine.
You know, so just look at it from that perspective. So keto or any other fad diet, let's not single out any, but any fad diet which is not balanced, which does not give you enough nutrition and is promising way too much than is practically possible, is to be stayed away from. And why should you go for them? Because exactly what I'm trying to tell everybody, there is no need to go for a fad diet when you can lose weight the right way. You can lose weight. I mean, everyone has been losing weight. You just need to keep a little extra patience.
So, you know, it's that. It's
Yeah,
fascinating that you say, you don't run down carbs the way uh,
I
everybody
don't.
runs down carbs.
I
Yeah.
don't. I don't run down carbs at all. Of course, I do a carbs correction with
Yeah.
everyone. Almost everyone, I need to do a carbs correction, Jyotsna. That is without saying going. I mean, I need to don't even need to say that because Indians, we are carbitarians. We eat
Yeah.
too much of carbs. So
Yeah.
I do cut that down a little,
Yeah.
but I believe that it's a very, very important part of your diet. If you remove carbs
No.
completely for a very long period of time, you'll probably be the most irritable person in the room, wherever you might be.
Yeah.
And that's not a good person to be around, even if you're
So
skinny.
oh
Even if
yeah,
you're skinny.
absolutely. But does that no carbs after 6 p.m. make sense to you?
What makes sense to me is not that, because there are different people, different bodies,
Yeah.
and different requirements. There are bodies that require more energy, in the first half of the day, and there are
Yeah.
bodies that may require because they're stress personalities. In fact, there are stress personalities which I identify, and I make sure that I give them some carbs for dinner.
Oh, you
Because
do.
only then they are able to sleep. If I
Oh,
just put
nice.
them on a just protein all nights for dinner,
That would
their
be me.
sleep gets affected.
That would be me. You
Okay.
know.
Yeah, so just in moderation, everything is good. Everything is good for in moderation. So you just have to identify your body type. You can do it yourself, or you could take the help of somebody to at least understand your body type and what works for you. It's very individual. There's no one rule plan which works, but there are strategies that which work. So basically, this book is like the code. It's the
Yeah.
code which you can
Yeah.
apply to yourself depending
Yeah.
on your body type.
Yeah.
So these are broad strategies that work with everybody. You know,
So what's your take on the whole vegan phenomena?
uh, not a huge fan. Not a huge fan again. So I've always stayed away from the trend. Usually because I'm not somebody who would follow the herd. I've never been that. I believe more in
Mm.
common sense, and I always believe. And I'll be very honest with you. I place health far more important than anything else even for my client. If I feel that that person can only lose weight 2 to 3 kgs a month, I would only deliver that. I would not force more than that, even if the person is obsessive. But if a
Yeah.
person can lose 5, I would deliver 5. I would plan it like that for that person. Now, as far as vegan is concerned, it's a very good way of living if you can put in the effort required to make sure that you can be a conscious, healthy eating vegan. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. It's not that you can just decide one day that today I'm going to turn vegan, because what might happen is that your body might end up being deficient in certain things if you don't plan your diet properly. Plus, you might need some supplements. Most people would need some supplements along with the vegan diet. So, unless it's for a religious reason or for some other, strongly ethical reason, I would much rather that you do include a little bit of, at least be vegetarian. If not,
Mm.
at least I'm very openly propagate 60-40 or 70-30.
Okay.
60 or 70 vegetarianism and 30 or
Mm.
40
Yeah.
non-vegetarianism, because there are certain, it's easier as a nutritionist, easier for me to manage all their macro as well as micronutrient requirements.
Right.
But if you
Right.
are a vegan, I have one advice: study it properly, really study it, plan your meals properly, make sure that you really get hold of good quality produce. Only if it is really easily available for you and okay on your pocket should you decide to turn completely vegan. Because protein, iron, vitamin B12, choline, I mean, the list of nutrients that can get shortchanged if you're not careful on a vegan diet is a long one. There are people who are managing beautifully,
Yeah.
but then they're putting in the effort. So if you're willing to put in
Yes.
the effort, do go for it.
Yeah, no, I've seen. It takes a lot of effort. My brother turned vegan, and I think it's phenomenal that he
It
manages
is.
it. Yeah,
Mm.
it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of
It's
dedication actually. more than
Yeah.
anything else, that temptation. There's always a temptation in front of you. Kavita, you lay a lot of emphasis on the advantages of raw food. And also, I know that you focus a lot as well on fermented food.
Yeah. I feel that there are, again, this is a principle that I feel works. It's a no-brainer. We don't eat enough raw foods, and we don't eat enough fermented food. And actually, this is an offshoot from my second book, if you remember, Ultimate Grandmother Hacks. That is when I read a lot about, probiotics and gut-friendly foods, and how the traditional diets automatically included all these in their, traditional thali. There would be regular fermented foods, and there would be regular raw food in the meal. So that is the time when I got really, really fascinated and learned, and then I applied it on a lot of my clients. And I was someone naturally always a raw food eater. So I realized it was helping me and how it was helping me. And accordingly, that's how the chapters have been there in the book, successive books in different forms. I'll tell you how both help separately. Let's talk about raw food first. What happens is that we're living in very, very toxic times, Jyotsna. I mean, things that are beyond our control. I mean, just half an hour on Twitter, I'm sure can just, basically just mess up your gut, if not your mind. Your mind will get messed up, but your gut is also getting messed up with the stress along with it, right? Then there is pollution. Then there is not at par quality of the food that we're eating. We can't be sure of the nutrients that we're actually taking in through the food that we're eating.
Of course.
A lot of other factors, junk eating, stress, general stress, So our stomach, which is the seat of our digestion and which is the seat of our health per se, even if we look at Ayurveda's always believed that your gut is the most important organ of the body, and all your diseases stem from a bad gut. And today, modern science has come full circle, and that's what everyone world over is also talking about. So the enzymes that we are supposed to have in our body to be able to actually make sure that everything that we're eating is properly digested, utilized, absorbed, are often missing. We're supposed to have them, but because of all these factors, they go less, and the good bacteria go less and the bad bacteria go high. So for both these reasons, for the enzymes, you need the raw foods, because raw foods are the best way to replenish the enzymes in our gut. And I feel that we need it literally on a daily basis, because we are facing the onslaught on a daily basis. So about 20 to 30% of your food daily, if it can be raw, even if 20% can be raw, and which is very easily done. If you do 2 fruits, if you do like 1 quarter plate of a salad, maybe do a green juice on some day and a salad on some day, maybe do sprouts on some day, it's easily manageable. It's just that you have to do that, make that conscious effort to eat something raw. It takes effort. It takes planning. So you need raw food for the enzymes and to keep replenishing your stomach's flora. Probiotics or the fermented foods are the best way to include or increase the the probiotic content of your food. You can of course do pills, and you can of course you have enough of these probiotics. And I also sometimes the guts are so bad that I have no choice but to first sort it out with the probiotic pills and then maintain it with the food. So fermented food is the best way to replenish the good bacteria in the stomach, the probiotics as we call it, and that again is equally important for your stomach to function properly. So both are very, very important. And if you remember, in our traditional diets, both were regular part of our diets.
So, I mean, you're talking about this, and I'll ask you a question that came, any special diet to reduce stomach fat? I think we all need to know that.
Any special diet, sorry, for?
To reduce stomach fat.
To reduce stomach fat. Okay, now the stomach fat is the most dangerous fat, and that is mostly the stress fat. And that usually happens when your hormones are out of whack. Whether it is your thyroid hormone, whether it is insulin, or it is your cortisol, the stress hormone, any of the hormones go out of whack, that is the first place the weight will come. If you're gaining all over the body, then you're probably just eating extra. But if you're gaining only on your stomach, then it's a clear indicator that either you're doing stress eating or you just are too stressed, for your hormones to have gone out of whack. So to lose weight, to lose that fat, which is there in abdominal fat, which we call the visceral fat, which is very stubborn, because once it gets lodged there, that's the toughest to just move. So you need to do a 3-pronged effort for that. One, you have to exercise, because that's the only way to move that fat and make the body realize that this is the fat we want to lose, right? So it cannot be just diet, or it cannot be just diet changes that can make that move. Second is you have to sleep very, very well and keep yourself stress-free as much as possible. So for that, it's not just, you can't just say, I'm going to not stress. It's not going to happen, right? So you have to proactively take up something which can mitigate your stress. Could be different things for different people. For some people, meditation works. For others, it just doesn't work. Yeah. So for some people, exercise works, A lot of my clients, a simple suggestion of going down and walking nonstop, till their stress recedes, listening to something nice I've seen worked wonders. Some people who've not even walked 10 minutes because they find it boring, but when they're listening to some, sometimes it's like shloks, or sometimes it's like a bhajan, or sometimes just nice music. And then they keep walking. You don't have to run. You just have to walk at a pace you're comfortable. But because that's more for the mind, what I'm trying to tell, this walk. And then people end up walking, they don't realize they end up walking for an hour, And that I've seen works beautifully for the stomach fat to, start moving. And then as far as food is concerned, stomach fat, you have to make the same rules apply. Nothing changes. Good fat rather than bad fat, good carbs rather than bad carbs, and very good quality protein, because the thermogenesis of the protein is faster, so it helps you lose weight a little more. So simple, there's nothing different. There is no magic cure. I'm sorry I'm telling you this, and I'm sure a lot of people are disappointed, but it is possible. It is possible, and I've done that with a lot of people.
So I think a lot of people will be coming to you for this, me included soon. Kavita, it's almost time, but I have one last question for you. The intermittent fasting. What's your take on that? Because that's again a new fad. I don't know if you see it as bad, but it's very common now.
So intermittent fasting is not a diet. Let's just clarify that first. It's a way of living. And that's something that was done or was practiced naturally till even say a couple of decades back in our country. It was not called by this fancy name of intermittent fasting. But if you recall, people would have like one meal in the morning, say about 9:30, 10 before they would leave for work. And then they would have their last meal the moment they would enter back home, which was before sunset, so 5, 6 o'clock. So they were not eating automatically for 12, 14, 16 hours, automatically. And that was a good way of living because it worked for them. That's how the lifestyle was structured at that point of time. You were not stepping out after sunset, but today you are, right? So today it has to be done consciously if you want to do that. It works, definitely works. Do not use it as a weight loss tool. You'll be disappointed. It just alone cannot work as a weight loss tool. It can only work as a very good cleansing agent for your body. It helps cut inflammation from the body. Again, because it's working on the same principle of giving your gut a rest. So the whole point is that you are letting your body and your gut especially recover in those 14 or 16 or 12 hours that you're not eating. That's the simple principle behind it. But there are ways to mess up intermittent fasting, which I see so many people do. People think that if they can eat in 10 hours, they can eat anything in those 10 hours. That doesn't work. That doesn't work, right? And then that is worse for you, So that's one thing to remember. If you're following intermittent fasting, it's very good for you because you're doing it for a different purpose altogether, for giving your gut a break, rejuvenate, basically it's anti-aging. It's wonderful. But you have to remember that other rules don't change. So you can't start eating junk and think that I'm doing intermittent fasting and I'm going to lose weight or get healthy. No, you'll get worse. And second, another very important point is it's not for everybody. It's not everyone can do intermittent fasting. For example, I can't. My body type does not allow me to go without food in the morning hours. So I can't, so maybe I can do max of 12 hours or 13 hours if I stretch it. That's what works for me. So identify what works for you. There are people who get severe acidity with it. So see if it is working for you or not. And don't go full throng into it. You've been eating every 2 hours and even eating at midnight, and suddenly you do a 16 hours fast. Your body will just, rebel. So go step by step, make it 12 hours first, maybe try 13 hours then. And maybe that's enough for you,
Yeah. But is there merit to the fact that you should have a heavier breakfast, heavy lunch, and then go down easy on the dinner? Or you can do it any which way? Because if you do intermittent fasting, it may hit your breakfast.
Yeah, that's another mistake people make. They eat more towards the second half of the day. They'll start eating at 1 and then they'll keep eating till 11. Doesn't work, because go according to your circadian rhythm, right? How the body is working. Yeah. The body is working on a different cycle altogether, and you're giving it food on a different cycle altogether.
Yeah.
The digestive powers are the highest in the mornings. They start waning from say after 4 o'clock in the evening, 4 to 5 o'clock in the evening. So obviously your food, biggest chunk should be between, I would say, in fact, lunch should be a good meal. I personally feel your digestive powers are best between 12 to 2. So eat a good lunch and of course, a good breakfast, because you've not eaten for a long period of time. And dinner should be substantial, but portion-wise smaller, And again, if you're not doing a fried fest at dinner, then you can eat a regular meal even for dinner. Yeah. There's no problem. Yeah.
All right, Kavita, as always, very informative, and congratulations on your book. It makes a lot of sense to a lot of us. We don't, we're not the ones to diet. So I think this is specially made for all of us. And guys, go get your copy now. It's all out, the No Diet Plan.
Yes.
I think we'll all feel mentally better after reading it. I have. And wishing you all the best, and we will connect again. And thanks so much for all the wonderful advice you keep giving us.
Most welcome.
Thank you, Kavita.
Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.